And so a lot of people talk about Tataria these days. I'm not going to talk about Tataria, but because I don't think Tataria is exactly what people think it is. I've done a lot of research about it. I didn't know I was researching about this before I came to the idea that they realized that people were referencing to maps and saying this is about an empire. I was talking about an empire that was connected through the water systems, thinking about it before I realized it had become a thing on the internet about 3 years ago, is when I first heard about it from um, looking into the Sumerians and the Cimmerians with a C. And I also, more recently, had a dream where I saw a female figure, and I could, it was a dream, so it's not important, but um, she showed me her mouth. Like, she opened her mouth really wide, and I could see that the teeth in her mouth went way far back. Like, she went like, ah, and like opened her mouth really wide and was showing me her teeth. And it was in reference, I believe, to wisdom teeth, which I thought of later. And it was like her face was kind of more elongated. But regardless, this was just a dream I had. But what it made me think of was the idea that of lost civilizations. And if you think about Pangea and Gondwana, or whatever it was called, I'd have to look that up, the proper word for it. But when the Earth itself was one conglomeration of plains and, you know, essentially land masses drifting, continental drift, and all of that. What if, people I mean, if you think about the Earth being much bigger, or rather taking up more of the ocean space, maybe that would even be all you need if we don't want to get too complicated with it. If we think of land masses floating, not, well, technically floating on the Earth's crust and on the water itself. My whole point is what I'm trying to get to is that we are descended from masters of human beings that were masters of being what they were. And I think that even though we are still very human, there's something very strange going on with humanity where they're very disconnected in a way, and they're more connected with each other, but they're less connected with the world they live in, and they're unfamiliar with it. They're like strangers on the planet. It's like we've become the aliens. It's as if, and that's not a theory I'm going with. It's just something I'm thinking about. That's not what I don't think that that's the case. I'm just saying it's like we are strangers in our own world. Like, we don't know, the average human being doesn't go out and recognize most of the stars. The average human being doesn't go out and understand the use of all the plants around them. The average human being doesn't understand animal body language, and they don't even really see the animals in their own environments because they've been pushed out, in most cases, out of civilization, and they don't feel the changes in the weather before they happen. It's like it's all been silenced, that whole part of themselves. They probably don't even use their minds or their bodies or their voices in any way, the way that they would have, I think, at the very beginning of mankind. And I think that's really bizarre when you think about it. It's like we're the only unnatural acting creature on the planet. Like, the birds and the animals all act like just like they're supposed to. They haven't lost touch with any of it. So if anything, I don't think that it's like we're getting more advanced. I think there's a confusion with that. And I wonder if we're becoming, why are we becoming disconnected? But yet we're becoming more connected to each other. It's a very strange phenomenon. Something to think about.